Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here, and let's get right to the top story. Senate acquits former President Trump in second impeachment trial, like everybody on YouTube told you. um, why? Why did we have this? And I'll tell you why this ended today, and that was a bit of a surprise. It was because the Republicans were preparing to relitigate the election, which is what I was hoping they would do, and what I was hoping Trump would do. 301 witnesses just to start. Yeah, they would have been doing this for weeks. But, you know, Mitch put out the word, I'm not voting to convict Trump. So at that point, anybody who was still an actual Republican fell in line, and they voted basically on party lines. Now, the Republicans that didn't vote for Trump, bye-bye. They need to be primaried. They need to be gone. You know, we have 43 senators that voted not guilty. Okay? They're all Republican. No Democrats crossing the line. Unfortunately. If the Democrats had any honor whatsoever, they would have all crossed the line. They would have stopped the sham impeachment right in its tracks. They knew it was pointless. This was all an exercise to make sure Trump couldn't run again. That's all it was for. They knew they couldn't impeach him. They knew. And it was a message to send to, from the establishment, we don't want Trump to be in office again. But as you can see, it's not so easy. Not so easy just to shoo Trump under the rug. 43 to 57. It's not as close as I'd like to see it, but close enough. I mean, basically you got 7 senators who jumped over, and most of them we all know. People like Mitt Romney, Bill Massey, Lisa Murkowski. They all need to be primaried. Cut them loose. Kick them out of the party. They're useless to you because they betray you. They are worse than having a Democrat, because at least if you have a Democrat, you know where they stand. They'll never vote for you, and you can plan for that. With a guy like Mitt Romney or Bill Sassy or Lisa Murkowski, you don't know where they're going to vote, because I don't think they have, especially Mitt Romney, I don't think they have very much in the way of morals. Mitt Romney pretends. He pretends to be religious, but that guy's been on every side of every issue since he's been in office. He's like McCain. McCain was that way. McCain just came out with, the guys from the Lincoln Project are busy polluting their britches, as it were. And Meghan McCain came out and said something like, well, my dad never liked that guy. It was either the guy who resigned or the guy who's accused of crimes against young men. Or young boys, I should say. Young teenagers, we'll say. Yeah, it's easy for you to say, Megan. It's easy to speak for the dead, I suppose. I don't know how truthful you are, because you're pretty political, but anyhow, that's just my opinion. But this is expected and great. The U.S. Senate on Saturday voted to acquit former President Donald Trump on the charge that he incited the deadly mob that raided the U.S. Capitol last month. It's from Fox 5. Deadly mob's a bit much, Fox, but we all know where you stand now, too. With the RINOs, with the neocons, with the Lincoln Project. Mostly. Trump needed 34 not guilty votes for acquittal. Senator Mark Rubio cast the deciding vote. No, he didn't. It was 43 to 57. If he had cast the deciding vote, it would have been 66 to 33, and Rubio would cast the vote and make the difference. That's not what happened. They had a margin of about 9 votes. 9 votes. I mean, it's not a big margin, but it's an okay margin, I guess, out of 100. The tally was 57 senators voting to convict and 43 voting to acquit. Saturday's rare impeachment session began with an unexpected vote to consider witnesses at trial, making a Saturday verdict unlikely. But hours later, House impeachment managers and Trump's defense team struck a compromise, allowing a new statement from Rep. Jamie Herrera Buehler into the record instead. The Republican Congresswoman had shared a conversation she had with House Minority Leader Mike McCarthy regarding President Trump's comments on the day of January 6th. The Senate held a roll call after a few hours of closing arguments. So, here's Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican who voted to convict Trump. Good for you. Let's primary him. Let's get him out of office. Pat Toomey, he's retiring anyway. Senators Burr, I almost said Bill Burr. They're done in 2023. Let's primary him. Let's get him out of there. Because they are useless. They are absolutely useless. And this was a total sham. You know, even if you can't stand Trump and don't think he should run for office again, this entire process is, completely unethical. If you think Trump shouldn't run again, well, campaign against him. It's not that hard, especially for a senator. In fact, when you're a senator and you come out against a Republican, well, that's all over the news, isn't it? So these guys don't want to do anything. They don't want to suffer any media scrutiny or anything. They don't want to fight. And that's been true of Republicans for a long time because the media is run by the Democratic Party, mostly. So mostly they have to go to Fox News because nobody else will even give them close to a fair shake. It's constant, grilling on the right, and hey, you're a lefty? Oh, you're our friend. You're wonderful. So, I'm glad he's been acquitted. There's rumors of more criminal charges. I think McConnell said something about that. It's just more roadblocks to keep Trump busy so he doesn't run, and, to waste his money. These guys don't care about his money. Also, too, the Georgia thing, that's being litigated, possibly. They're gonna come out basically the same sort of thing. It's like, oh well, I think I felt like Trump violated the law. Well, did he? No, but I felt that way. I felt like Trump incited a mob. Well, did he? Well, no, not actually, but I felt that way. It seemed that way. I got the vibe that it happened that way. Well, we don't convict anybody on a vibe. But shouldn't you? No. We don't convict people on vibes. We don't convict people because your feelings were hurt. I mean, the hysterical nonsense that came out of the Democrats, I mean, you can see, again, the seeds of their own destruction, right? They had an opportunity to smear Trump, and they blew it. They had everything in their corner, right? They had the Senate, they had the presidency, they have the House. All they had to do was present solid evidence. And not only could they not do it, because it basically doesn't exist, but if you're going for a smear job, you're going for a smear job. But they actually manufactured some evidence and S the bet. So you got Eric Swalwell there. First off, who should not, I don't know why the guy's on any committees, why he's in office. The guy is, in my view, compromised. He slept with a Chinese spy. I mean, that back in the day, that would have been more than enough to destroy his career. And Democrats would have been on board. They would have been, well, this is very, very irregular, and they would have understood that unless it was the most extraordinary of circumstances, that Swalwell came out and said, well, I was very careful, to keep my personal life away from anything that I would do as a congressman, and here's how I kept everything separate. No, he didn't bother to do any of that. So, you know, why is he still in office? Why is he still on committees? Why is he running the impeachment trial? At the very least, don't let him run the impeachment. I guess he's a manager. Don't make him visible. Hide him for a year or two. Just keep him in the background. Keep doing grunt work. He's not a good guy. He's not popular. He didn't get any traction as a presidential candidate. He's embarrassed himself on TV multiple times. He farted. He's been going at Trump, hammer and tongs for years, literally years, just like Adam Schiff. They're both, in terms of their popularity, it's marginal at best. The only place guys like that can exist is in California. That's it. It's the only place they can continue to operate. This is destroying the Democratic Party. It's destroying your credibility. Nancy Pelosi, I think, is mostly to blame. And yeah, you can keep, backing them up, but the whole house of cards will collapse. It will collapse. Because they're not just hurting Swalwell or Schiff or Pelosi. They're hurting the brand of the Democratic Party. This is just what happened with the Republicans. When the neocons were in the Republican Party during the Bush era, they destroyed their brand. Okay? It didn't matter that some Republicans had voted for things and others didn't. It didn't matter. That, like the Democrats, they became a uniform party with no morals. Bush said line up, and they did. And if you didn't line up, you want to risk looking un-American in this terroristic environment? There's not going to be anybody left. They're all going to be destroyed because people will just go, I can't vote for Democrats. It won't matter who you put up then. It won't matter if you do put up a Tulsi Gabbard or someone even, more moral and popular. They'll just say, I can't vote for a Democrat. No. That's where we're headed. And this, the only saving grace, I guess, is you announced it on Saturday when I guess nobody's really paying attention to the news. And by Monday, people get to work and go, he was acquitted? I didn't hear. But Teflon Don strikes again, right? He can concentrate on doing other stuff until the next criminal trial. You're persecuting a guy who is beloved by his followers. He's loved. He's not liked. He's loved. They love him. They love him not because he's a genius. He's kind of a genius in his own way, I guess. Not a classic genius. Not like a Stephen Hawking's genius. He's kind of a genius and he knows branding and PR and that kind of thing. I guess you'd call him a marketing genius, but beyond that, that's not why he's beloved. He's beloved because he's the only one who fought for the working person, other than maybe some of the guys underneath him. But those guys need to be tested more. Maybe you got Matt Gaetz and a handful of others. Maybe Ted Cruz is in that camp. Maybe DeSantis. You can count them on the fingers of one hand, but Trump, my God, all the things he did. The only guy who had a chance at reaching the level of Trump would have been Mike Pence, and he essed the bed and went his merry way. Him, Nikki Haley, they're all leaving. Okay, goodbye. No one's going to vote for you. No one's going to donate money. So you're going to have to go begging to the corporations. They're supporting the Democrats now. They're not interested in you. You're not woke. Pence especially. Pence is screwed. Who the hell's going to support him? Not those woke companies. Ooh, we can't be associated with the anti-gay guy. No way. In this woke world, you're gonna donate money to him? I don't think so. I don't think big soda or big pharma or big anything is gonna give Pence much money. They're going to be vying for that money that Trump gets. And the people that give Trump money, you think Goya is going to give Mike Pence a dime? I don't think so. My Pillow? I don't think so. There's a few other companies too. So, good for the 43 senators. This is the high watermark of the Democratic Party in this incarnation. This is it. Everything is downhill from here. And I look forward to your continued lack of success.